This isn't an essay about burnout. I'm not going to say that burnout was invented by John Burnout in 1879. But you know what? Here's the best definition of burnout, just so we can do away with the usual video essay pleasantries.
Emotions are tunnels. If you go all the way through them, you get to the light at the end. Exhaustion happens when we get stuck in an emotion.
Burnout by the Nagoski twins is the book on burnout. As the quote suggests, burnout is first and foremost emotional. That's not to say that it's all in your head. Emotions are very physical. As the Nagoskis themselves say in their book, emotions are neurochemical responses to stimuli, i.e., they're not only in your head, they're real. They're tangible things like your heart rate, hormone levels, appetite, and more. Burnout, therefore, is getting stuck in an emotion and exerting your body until it solves. Their recommendation? Deal with the stressor. The emotion and all its physiological symptoms will resolve if you do it. But what if you can't? Like, what if you have a shitty boss and you need the job? What if you have 6 figures of debt because of your student loans? Or what if you're monetizing your creativity in a platform that can change its rates and your viewership at the drop of a hat? But burnout is burnout because it's not easy to opt out of it. And if you're a creator, it's so much worse. You can quit a job with a shitty boss, but you can't just barge into YouTube's offices and kindly ask that they change the algorithm to the way it was before. Honestly, not even YouTube can. Famous YouTube retiree Tom Scott made a great video about the black box nature of the so-called algorithm. The algo has a goal: connect viewers with things they'll like to watch as close to completion as possible, so they can stay in the platform and watch ads. How it gets there, it's entirely up to the machine to learn how. Maybe we should all do like Tom and retire. Sadly, we can't. Quitting is a luxury. Only 3% of creators monetize above the poverty line. This was supposed to be an easy video, an adaptation of a keynote I gave at VidCon Mexico a couple years ago. The talk was a breezy 20 minutes of diversify your income, prevent burnout, and delegate tasks sooner than you want, followed by a nice little Q&A. Alas, this is not an easy video. I still stand by those strategies, but my understanding of the creator economy has become much more nuanced since then. So, what I would ideally like you to get out of this video, besides a couple of burnout prevention tips, is the following. If you are or want to be a creator, you shouldn't consider yourself an artist, but something in between a gig worker and an athlete. But before we start, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, smash the bell, and like the video. Let's get one thing out of the way. YouTube is still the best platform out there to make a buck out of. Just ask any TikToker trying to migrate their audience here. Or remember the Viner invasion of 2017? I do. Space Scheme is the best one out there. 55-45 in favor of the creators. It's so good that they flipped it when they launched Shorts. And yet the platform always seems very disinterested in the well-being of its creators. Like the year-old Legacy Jimmys and the Slapper took over the front page, cannibalizing views from native creators. Or how they restricted swearing only to roll it back. Or the absolute negligence in protecting minority creators from bad actors within the platform. Not to mention the algorithm being so optimized for outrage content and trends that creators end up making similar videos. I guess hyperbole is the crap of YouTube. But none of that compares to the fact that creator burnout seems to be just a cost of doing business for the platform. If you're a digital creator monetizing mostly through platform ad revenue, you are not, I repeat, you are not an entrepreneur. You are a freelancer working for a black box. You're a creative gig worker. But instead of delivering food, you deliver entertainment. Or yourself. And guess who are the most burnout laborers in the modern economy? Gig workers. So much for the glitz and glamour of being an influencer, I guess. Okay, but that's just one type of burnout, what I will call baseline burnout. The guess I work for the algorithm burnout. But there are other types of burnout, like affect burnout. When you communicate online, you inevitably engage in acting out a persona. You can watch Lindsay Ellis's seminal video essay about manufacturer authenticity to get a deeper look into it. But the long and short of it is that publicly creating is emotional labor. I've talked about many a creator who denied this to me with a standard, but it's really me, I'm just myself on camera. This is me. Oh honey, you're not yourself on camera. No matter how close your online persona may be to your regular self, online, you are different. You're louder, more energetic, more aware. Gloria Petrucci has a great course about being yourself on camera on Nebula. Not sponsored by the way, but hey standard, hit me up. In it, she says that the camera doesn't add weight, like the myth says, but actually drains energy. Hence, the best way to show up authentically, but not in character, is to be you times 10. This doesn't mean you have to be a living Mr. Beast thumbnail, just that you have to turn the knob up a bit so your personality shows on film. She gives the example of Marques Brownlee, how his chill persona is most likely his chill times 10, just so the camera registers it. And besides performing on camera, don't forget you're also performing off camera. If you're a creator in the digital age, you're constantly curating an online persona off platform. Whether that be choosing not to talk about politics in your videos or outside of them to avoid alienating your audience, or choosing to hide your relationship status so you deepen the parasocial bond. However you slice it, you're performing and your audience expects you to. That is the parasocial contract they sign with you in their minds, and they expect you to be this person forever.
While emotional exhaustion was a common problem among employees, very few of them would actually engage in emotional deviance in order to avoid the negative consequences of surface acting. It was found that highly skilled Walt Disney World employees will have already internalized emotional regulation training and display rules that manage emotional behavior. Therefore, it becomes less essential for the Disney company to formally monitor its employees' facial expressions and their emotional behavior in the future.
Yup, I just compared being a YouTuber to being a Disney Parks cast member. Don't forget to smile, or else. Affect burnout to me is like being a planet on Star Wars. You know, like a whole ass planet that somehow defies all logic and is just one topographical feature. You can't just be one thing all the time. Even if that thing is as close to you as it can be, it gets exhausting to act out this limited version over and over and over. Even if you take breaks, even if you have a healthy upload schedule, this flattening of you will take a toll. Even if you're doing well financially, affect burnout comes for all creators. That's what I mean with creators being athletes. Lucas Cruikshank wasn't gonna play Fred past 30. Creators, like athletes, have an expiration date. I think that's why all these soft retirements have been so visible this year. Creating at the rhythm that the platform demands, at the parasocial intensity that audiences expect nowadays, is a lot, and creators need you to know it, so they can move on peacefully to the farm upstate where all creators go. But instead of having a farewell game and heading off to a club in America like an athlete would, creators make a farewell video and move on to doing less demanding content like podcasts or managing their IPs behind the scenes. The main MO of this less than 2-decade-old profession is to apparently get the bag while you can and retire before burnout gets you. Burnout comes for us all. 89% of creators who struggle to monetize, and 75.5% of creators in general, have said to have experienced burnout. It's not a bug, it's a feature. The platform has no stake in creators who are burnt out, because there's always someone to replace you. Remember, you're doing this out of your own will for the possible upside of having a monetizable audience and quitting your 9-to-5. So, YouTube is never going to step up to address systemic burnout. Boner reducer, I know, but it doesn't have to be. One of my side gigs, besides being invited to talk about the creator economy, is mentoring creators. So, from my experience alone, here's my best attempt at a burnout prevention playbook.
You gotta know how to jack this. You gotta play this game rough, you know what I mean? In, out, get, grab, bonk. You need to diversify your income streams, nigga.
When creators ask me about what I think is the most underrated metric, I always say the same thing. To me, and the creators I mentor, the metric that matters most is Patreon, or paid subscription in general. No matter what size your audience is, you need to offer paid memberships as soon as you can. Don't overdo it, don't have 1,000 tiers and perks that include physical mail. KISS, keep it simple, stupid. The most basic recipe for a good Patreon is as follows. 3 tiers. No tier should be less than $3 US. Have one good perk for free members and keep the rewards in the realm of the doable, like credits and mentions at the end of the video or any type of sawdust. What is sawdust? Glad you asked. Any byproduct of your process is what I call sawdust. Do you write your videos beforehand? Share your scripts. Do you keep outtakes you can reasonably make into a quick video? Share that. Do you make sketches or illustrations for your videos? Share the time lapses or early sketches of those. I love sawdust because it's smack dab in the Venn diagram of things your audience wants from you and things that don't add more work to your process. And believe me, people want to know your process, even be a part of it. You may think your audience doesn't want that. They want Discord servers and merch and meet and greets and more and more and more and more. Yes, some people will want more. And by all means, do more if you reasonably want and can. Just don't do something where the learning curve is steep without any help. Don't set up a Discord server if you've barely used Discord yourself. Don't do merch without researching a reliable and heavily vetted fulfillment partner. And for the love of God, don't ever promise to physically mail anything to a patron without running the numbers by someone who knows about shipping. That being said, the next order of business is to grow your audience elsewhere. I know. I just said do not do more than you can, but this is a necessary evil. Having your audience in one platform is as much a recipe for disaster as relying on only one source of revenue. YouTube could ban you tomorrow, or it could be bought by BlackRock, Vanguard, Taco Bell, or whatever future conglomerate late-stage capitalism comes up with. Or the algorithm can simply change and not favor your kind of content anymore. So yeah, having a presence in other platforms is important. My one recommendation here is to go with your gut. Grow on the platform you like most as a user. Don't choose a platform because it's the trendy one nowadays. Twitch, for example, is a great platform to generate audience loyalty, but I wouldn't recommend it to a creator who isn't a fan of live streaming. Go with your gut. If you're a fan of podcasts, start one. If you like vertical short form, you have so many options now. Hell, if you like the cesspool that is Twitter, go nuts.
Flashback Mary.
Hi, sisters!
In my country, there's a saying, "Guagua que no llora, no mama," which roughly translates to "the baby that doesn't cry doesn't get fed." So yeah, ask for things. Your dream is to collab with a creator that inspired you to start your channel in the first place? Reach out by DM. You want sponsorships? Easy. Pay attention and see which brands are sponsoring creators and send them an email with a quick pitch of your channel and metrics. Hell, if you'd like to start delegating some of the processes in your pipeline that you hate doing, go to r/creator services or ask your community for demo reels and resumes. Don't be the baby who doesn't cry. Ask for stuff, reach out to people, enlist help if you need it.
I'm taking January off.
As you know, Tom took a couple Januaries off by spotlighting smaller creators with guest videos in his channel. His metrics didn't suffer at all. They were actually good during that time, and it got him some well-deserved R&R in the process. Guest videos are complicated. How do you quality control? Do you share ad revenue? Is it ethical to ask a guest video from a smaller creator? You can deal with those questions however you like, but the fact remains that this is a solid strategy, out of many, to get time off. And that's just the thing. Time off has to be built into your schedule from the start. Preventing burnout will always be 1,000 times better than having to take time off because of a mentee bee. Time off, meaningful, intentional time off, where you're not jotting down every single idea or making stories on your vacations, but actually engaging in something other than creating video for an extended period of time. Has to be part of your creator vocabulary ASAP. And since you're already set up subscription revenue, you'll have no problem taking some weeks off every now and then. I know what you're thinking. This sounds awful. Why bother chasing the dream? You said it. It's a dream. Being able to live off your creativity is the dream. being respected by your peers because of things you wrote, produced, and shot would not only be amazing, but the fact that it would be also your job seems insane, right? Just as insane a dream as, say, being able to make a living playing the sport you loved as a kid. See what I did there? Much like with sport or any other high skill floor craft, think acting, comedy, dancing, illustration, hell, even academic tenure. Only a few could make it into a viable career. But then in the 2000s, YouTube launches, Canon releases the 5D Mark II, and suddenly the high skill floor collapses, meaning every year more and more people take a crack at making video entertainment for a living. You may call it content, but make no mistake, you're not making Citizen Kane here, or even an A24 movie. You're making social video hoping a lot of people will like what you're selling. And, much like in sport, there are people who are born with great innate talent, or with an immense privilege, or dead set on gaming the system to get into the Olympics without any of those advantages. But what makes a great athlete is also what makes a great YouTuber. Grit, passion, foresight. Don't spend everything you monetize. Always strive to better your craft. And most of all, know when to quit. Because unlike sports, which at least has to be a bit meritocratic, social video does not have a rule book or a union. Back in the early days of YouTube, getting clicks was what mattered. Then clickbait took over, so they changed the algorithm to favor retention. And then Let's Plays took over. Then vlogs, then long-ass videos. And now we're at the tail end of hyperbolic content being the dominating strategy in the YouTube meta. To YouTube, you're a gig worker, a content monger. You get to monetize what the algorithm gives you and you like it and even ask for seconds. So again, no wonder that YouTubers, like athletes, are incentivized to dial it back after 35 or a decade in the biz. And yet, it's still so alluring, isn't it? Just imagine being a professional opinion haver, or a professional oversharer, an edutainer, an urbanist, an architect, a geography nerd, a political activist, and so on and so forth. The possibilities are endless. Your possibilities are endless. Your potential is endless. So yes, it's tough. Yes, it's unfair. But at least it doesn't have to be exhausting. If you're already making videos, keep making them. If you dream of making them, start now. I wish you the best of luck. Take care of yourself and take care of your creativity. This video is brought to you by me. My name is Martin Dominguez, mentor for digital creators. Being a digital creator is hard. Whether you're just starting out or already established, the rules are constantly changing, monetization is tough, and the threat of burnout is ever present. And most of all, there's not that many people to talk about any of those issues with, is there? It's because of that I became a mentor. I help creators talk about their issues in a non-judgmental space, giving them experience-based action steps, advice, and even contacts. I help creators reach their goals on their terms, from increasing revenue, dealing with harassment, or navigating creative blocks. I love helping creators problem solve and take meaningful, measurable action towards their dreams. What qualifies me to help creators? Well, I myself am a creator. I co-created and was CEO of Enchufe TV, a comedy channel with over 27 million subscribers as of this writing, and producer for film, streaming, and podcasts. I've also written for publications like El Nuevo Herald and given talks at events like VidCon about the creator economy. I've helped all sorts of creators and media companies, from travel bloggers, gaming YouTubers, musicians, you name it. If you'd like me to mentor you, you can start by filling out the form about your creator journey on my website, martin-dominguez.com. I would love to be of service and help you reach your goals on your terms.